the tool that we're going to be diving into today is the NEXTOOL Mini Sailor S11 Pro. I know that's a huge mouthful, but a few months back, I was just surfing around on Blade HQ. I saw it, and to be honest, it was partly due to that awesome metallic blue handle color option. But also, I said to myself, you know, I haven't really tested out any multi-tools lately that fit on a keyring that are actually available that are good. And I said, you know what, 30 bucks, let's just do it. I pulled the trigger, and I've now been carrying it on my keyring consistently for the last few months. And I got to say, there is a lot of huge upgrades that you're not going to find on most other keyring size multi-tools that they have packed into this little guy. We're going to see how it stacks up to not only the original Squirt, but the SOG POWERPINT and where it might fit in. And so we're just going to have a ton of fun today unpacking this little multi-tool and maybe challenging you a little bit to rethink your everyday carry system if you're not yet carrying a plier-based multi-tool, how it might be important to do so. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in and have some fun. And what really got me excited is that this does include a 3D Phillips driver. Even the legendary Squirt didn't come with that. That means that I'm easily able to engage with Phillips head screws of medium to small size. A lot of that I work on with like Kydex sheaths when you're mounting, you know, belt clips and different things like that. Awesome part with that also has a negative. They have a recess D-ring. That is your attachment option. So you can either push it into the body and it's totally flush, not there, or you pull it out, you put your ring, your key ring, lanyard, whatever you're going to do. It's on the same size as the driver when it's closed up. Now you can obviously pull it apart and extend it and give you more reach for the driver itself anyway. But I really wish that Phillips particularly was on the opposite side, so you're just not messing around with the lanyard and having to potentially disconnect it if you're doing a kind of serious driving experience. Now, on the flip side, you actually have 3 implements. You have your standard flathead that you can absolutely use with small and medium flatheads, but behind that, you also have a SIM card extractor tool. So that is excellent. You know, it's about the size of like a paperclip, so think of like technological stuff. You know, like you have to hard reset, you know, a game system, maybe a camera, you know, different things like that. It's a cool little implement. So that's on one side. That really gets a lot done. Then if we flip over to the opposite, this is one of the first big upgrades is that you get a 1.75 inch long 8CR 14 MOV blade with an HRC of 57 to 59. That is going to be one of the best steels and hardnesses you're going to find on a compact multi-tool ever, regardless if it's made in America or like this one made overseas in China. So that aspect alone really allows you to get better wear resistance. You're not going to have to resharpen this as often. Has a little sheep's foot design tip, great for piercing into packaging, and a slight hollow grind. The edge geometry is actually really good, and I was really pleased with it being able to go with one pull through like nylon rope. And as an added bonus, these are not pinned in like what you would have found on the Squirt. These have T8 Torx screws to hold the whole tool together. That's just a little I don't know what the word would be, flag showing its quality and build construction. Now, on the flip side of that tool, you're going to get a 3 grit, good size, about right around that same length, 1 3/4 of an inch file, so that you can do fine, coarse, and one side is coarse as well, so you could make a little notch. You can absolutely file off corners of wood, you know, do different things that you would need to. That is also a non-locking. None of these implements lock, so that's just something to be aware of. But that all engages really well and gets a lot of small, compact tasks done. Now, again, the only thing that I really notice is how the lanyard, the depressed lanyard that you can hide away if you want to, is on the side of a lot of these implements. So you end up having to, if you're going to use them quite a bit, disconnect it from a carabiner or a key ring. So that's my only critique really with the model. It's not necessarily the tools themselves and the implements, but it's the attachment point on where you would carry this can sometimes get in the way, and then you're taking it off the keyring a lot. So on that attribute, now as we go over, I know one tool that a lot of people really care about a lot are the scissors. And I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the way these actuate. They have a very good tension spring on them. They are able to cut through paracord better than my squirt, better than my SOG, better than most other multi-tools in this arena, and have a good rebound, good grip points, and just really eat through the material. Now that brings us to the material themselves. Aside from the 8CR14 MOV of the blade, the other implements are 5CR15, which is pretty standard for these size of tools, and that's what you would expect with all the other ones. The dime, the SOG are all built out of either that or even 3CR sometimes, depending on the material. Finally, they do have these little nodules on here that glow in the dark. If you get some light on them, they fade pretty quick. Maybe with an ultraviolet light, if you're searching around and you lost it, you would see it, but it's not like they hold their glow all day and you can like, oh, look, it's over there. So I don't know. I mean, it's something, but it doesn't really work the way that I would want something like that to work, where it would hold its glow for an extended period of time. But I can tell you one thing that does work off of light extremely well, and they're the sponsor of today's video, and it's my VERWatch's C5 Tactical Solar Field Watch. Now, I'm coming up on a year of owning this watch, and it just keeps on ticking, literally. And there are three things that make me keep coming back to it and wanting to share my experience with you guys. One is that these watches are assembled right here in the USA, and VERWatch's is based right here in America. And so they use Japanese movement, and then they put them together here, fueling American industry, American jobs, and it's awesome to know that American workers had their hands on these and put it all together and built it out for me to enjoy. The second thing is durability. With the sapphire crystal over that face, I can literally take this multi-tool blade and just run it across there all day, and it's not going to damage it in any way. I do that to my inexpensive field watches, or whatever they are, digital watches. They all have their place, but man, you run a blade across there, it's going to curl it up, scratch it up, and it basically becomes useless immediately. You tie that in with the lockdown screw down crown, which helps with the waterproof capability of 100 meters, meaning you're not going to accidentally pull that crown out and then flood the watch and ruin your timepiece. And number three is customization. Us gear lovers love to customize our gear, and with VER's quick release system, without any tools, I can wear a rubber band in the morning for a hike and then get home, swap it out for a high quality leather, changing the entire feel and style of the watch, and go out for a date with Mrs. GT. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys, and there are tons of other options available through VERWatch's, including automatics, more inexpensive quartz-based powered systems, and so much more. So I'm gonna have a link popping up. It's in the description box below as well, over to the VERWatch website, so you can start exploring and score yourself a timepiece that will keep on ticking. Okay, so if the screwdriver bits are my most used tool, the pliers are my second most used tool on any type of mini multi-tool. And that is the main reason why I do not carry Swiss Army knives or Victorinox knives, because they do not have a plier. And I've just found over the years that I use this on the weekly for little tasks, different things that outside of just the big, massive Swiss Army knives, they don't offer that, and so I end up just gravitating more to something like this. Now, when it comes to these pliers, they're made out of that 5CR steel. The needle nose connect, that's excellent. There's no gap, and then there's a small gap that flares out more and more as you get towards the main teeth to hold bolts. It'll hold small and medium bolts without issue. Didn't have any stripping and things like that. Now, again, this isn't for like a construction site, but it's just for the small to medium tasks. And then finally, I had the wire cutters, and I started with some just like picture hanging wire. Easily cuts through that, so when your wife is like, hey honey, can you hang this picture for me, you don't have to go out to the work shed. You can just do it because it's right there on your keys or in your pocket. So that, and then I tried it on 16 gauge galvanized wire, able to cut through that no problem as well. So the head itself, with its spring loaded rebound, really nice and quick and fast, it just really worked well for me, and would do 80% of any cutting and plier based situation that I'm just going to bump into on an everyday carry basis. So how does this stack up, kind of to wrap it all up, compared to the squirt and the PowerPint and the dime? Well, I'll tell you right now, I've owned the dime. The NEXTOOL is far superior to the dime. Blows it out of the water on basically every front. And if you own a dime, but you're kind of like, this will absolutely outperform it on every level, in my personal opinion. Now, when it comes to the squirt, if you already own one and maybe you're wanting to hook up friends and family, or you lost one, or you want to back up in case you ever lose it, whatever, to give you some ideas, I really see actually more capability out of the NEXTOOL with like the 3D Phillips and a few of the other little implements. The blade is going to hold its edge longer. The only real difference that I saw is mainly in the fact that the cutters on the Leatherman squirt are slightly longer. I mean, they both pass over each other, but the NEXTOOL is a little bit shorter, still able to get around most size wire that you're going to cut through, but these are just a little longer, giving you a little bit more space to work with. That's really it. Obviously, American built quality, all of that, but they're not making them anymore, so it's not even really a question. When it comes to size, the squirt is about 2 ounces. This guy is 2.8, so that's just something to be aware of, just for some sizing right there. Slightly heavier, slightly larger by just a little bit. You will notice it in your pocket on your key ring, but it is smaller than the PowerPint. The PowerPint is awesome. I've used it a ton. You guys know. What really makes it connect for me at over 4 ounces, so it's definitely getting into like a medium-sized multi-tool, is that the plier head is obviously bigger. It's going to do more for you. It's got their leverage points that do work and do things. It does have the pocket clip. I really wish more multi-tools would offer a removable pocket clip, just to give you an option to carry. I often carry this on my weak side in my pocket on the pocket clip, and then my pocket knife on the opposite. So if you prefer bigger pliers and you actually want some leverage and you like a pocket clip, that's really where the PowerPint works. But when it comes to all of the other implements, the implements on the NEXTOOL actually work. The scissors are better, the file tends to work better, there's just like better aspects. The knife blade is better and easier to get out. There's just a lot going on there that the NEXTOOL really wins, and is, I think, kind of a blending of those two. Slightly bigger and more capable than the squirt, but not as big and bulky as a PowerPint. And with the aluminum body, different color combinations, 30 bucks, there's a lot going on there. And they actually have a few different sizes to choose from. So if you want to go a little bit smaller, they have like just the S11, I believe, and then an even light version with slightly less implements and a slightly smaller footprint. So guys, the NEXTOOL, this thing is sick and definitely going to be in the EDC rotation for me. Leave a comment below on what you guys think about it, especially if you own one. How has it been performing for you? I appreciate you guys hanging with me today. Hope it's been fun. Check out the other videos, subscribe, and always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.